Hi, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it.
We did it. Chuck's 5-star.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Shelly.
You're welcome, Chuck.
Here is a really great project that you guys can do yourself. This is day 1, and I'm just out here by myself showing you how to do this. Day 2, we'll bring the crew. Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Today we're down here in Maitland, Florida, a suburb of Orlando, and they've got a problem here with water draining off of the pool deck. And what it does is they've got a crawl space on this addition right here, and of course that water, you can see all the pavers, it just floods and goes right underneath the Yes, they have a channel drain, but what it's doing is it empties right here. They've got their entire gutters coming over and coming down right here, and they put in a drain, somebody did, but it doesn't discharge fast enough. In other words, it runs uphill as it comes out and going to the street. Over here is the access to the crawl space, and you can see the leaves and debris. What happens is, of course, when it rains, that water just floods up and runs right up underneath their crawl space. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this rain barrel. We're going to put a sump pit and sump pump right here. The discharge will come across with 1.5" PVC, and it's going to run all the way out between the pavers and the fence. Out here we'll change to 4-inch pipe. See our roll. We'll hook up this downspout, bring this downspout across, and send it all the way out where it's got good discharge. So let's go ahead and get started. So you can see most of their problem. I went ahead and cut the line because we're going to put all new pipe in here. You can see it's just full of water. I mean, it's just full. And typical problem installed by a landscape company, more than likely. Line comes out and it discharges right here. And again, you can see if you look at the street, they had 2 feet of fall if they would have went on out to the street to correct the problem, but instead they've run their line uphill. They discharged to a pop-up, and again, that means the water has to rise up even further to discharge, and of course it just floods and floods and floods. So let's go ahead and cut this sod off. We're going to run a new line all the way out to the sidewalk where our pop-up will work because it's got plenty of fall. So the first thing I need to do is go ahead and pull out their old pipe. It's actually easier to dig a new line than it is to pull out a new pipe. But if you need to pull out the old pipe, take your sod off, dig down along the sides, use your shovel and just pry it up. Eventually you'll have this all out of the way. Continue it until you get to the end of the line, and then just lift it up and pull it completely out of the trench. So let's get this out of the way. So now we're just going to take the trench down a little deeper. I like to lay out plastic, especially in sandy soils where there's St. Augustine grass, because it's hard to get up. And basically it's just like digging a trench. Work backwards, cut your roots, and then come back and scrape it clean. We should be down about 14 inches once we scrape it clean. We'll continue this all the way out, then I'll show you how to cut some sod. Cutting the sod is actually pretty simple in the Florida soil and sand. Remember, this is St. Augustine grass, and what that means is that it's a beautiful grass, but it is more like a vine. So, real simple, lay out a straight edge, take your shovel, and cut along the sides, both sides, just wide enough so that your shovel fits in. Then you can come back and take off the sod, just scrape along the bottom of the roots, and lay it off to one side. Do this all the way down to the end of your trench. Then you'll come back and start your excavation. Notice the plastic on the side. It's really important, if you want to keep that area clean, to lay out some plastic so you can lay your dirt on top of that plastic as you're trenching. So once you have your sod off, you're going to go ahead and start your trench. Basically always work backwards. Easiest just to make one pass, take out one shovel, and then come back, clean it. When you come back, you're usually at the right depth. Oh yeah, we're about 14 inches. We got a real good fall. You can see I'm just coming back through the trench. Put the shovel on your thigh or your waist, push it, scrape it up, and pull it out. We'll do this all the way down. So on this installation, we're putting in right at 100 feet. And you notice I'm doing this all alone just to show you how easy it really is. The plastic's important. Set your dirt onto the plastic. You'll see why when we cover it up. For a homeowner to do this themselves, probably a couple hours. You should be able to trench 100 feet in sand within just a few hours. And I mean, that's complete. Cover it up and you're done. This is a great project for the do-it-yourselfer, and save yourself thousands of dollars to do this yourself. Material on this job, right around $100. And of course you need a shovel and rakes and things like that. But what a great project, something that I promise you can do yourself and save a lot of money. Okay, so you can see I've just set the pop-up in here to give some type of reference of depth. The pop-up itself is about 6 inches deep because there's a 90 on the bottom. And remember, the way the pop-up works, water comes down the line, it has to flood up before it can come out. There's a little hole here in the bottom so that it doesn't freeze. However, we're in Florida, never going to be an issue here. So, do pop-ups work? Hey, you know, I don't prefer them. I'd much rather have, you know, a discharge come out and, you know, cut this walk, come out here and core a hole through the curb the way it's supposed to be. But a lot of municipalities don't like that, homeowners associations, things like that. So we've got our trench installed. Nice trench, quite deep here through the rise of the yard. Back here we'll put a T on it. Next we're going to go ahead and try to push some 1.5 inch pipe through this old 4-inch pipe back to where we're going to put the sump pump back there by the rain barrel. So now it's time to lay the pipe. Remember that corrugated pipe comes in 100-foot rolls, and it's really nice. It does present a small problem when you try to unroll the pipe. A couple ways to do it. In this example, lay the pipe down in your trench, and then you just spin it out. Roll it slowly, keep rolling until the pipe is extended, and pretty soon you'll have that pipe installed. Try to keep the pipe down in the trench. Try to get all the way through the pipe when you hold it, like a reel, so that it easily rolls out. Just take your time, go slow. Again, if you think of the roll of pipe as being on a reel and you're unrolling the reel, try to keep your hands all the way through all of the pipe, otherwise it really becomes a mess. But you can see, just a few minutes it unrolls and we're down in the trench. You can also add soil on top of it if it starts to pop up, just to hold it in place. So once you've unrolled your pipe, remember we're going to connect that downspout, we're going to put a T here, and our 1.5 inch pipe from the sump pump is going to come and tie into the other side of the T. So make your measurement, cut off your pipe. Let's go ahead and put this tee on. Let's go ahead and put this tee together. Remember, it'll snap in place. We're perfectly in line with that section there. Yeah, it pops up a little bit, but no big deal. Next, we'll cut a piece over to that downspout, and we'll also go ahead and bring our 1.5 inch pipe right into here. This line runs all the way out to the sidewalk. So you got your tee installed. Go ahead and snap the rest of your plumbing together. What I'm doing here is we're going to attach that 1.5 inch pipe from the other side. So we're going to put this under. We'll actually make the connection on the other side. Now we can cover this, and we've got really good gravity to take all this out of here. Then we have real good gravity to run that all the way out to the street, the sidewalk. Next, we're going to go ahead and plumb this. Just put a couple couplings on it, cover it up. Remember, that line does not have to be deep. It's going to be kind of under pressure. The pump's going to push that water right through that pipe, so it can go uphill. That's why you're using the pump. So now it's time to cover up your main trench. Remember that we set all that dirt on that plastic. So take your rake, turn it upside down, and push as much dirt off of the plastic into the trench as you can. And the reason why is that even though it looks like you could lift up that plastic, it's still heavy. The idea of the plastic makes it nice. You can see as I lift it up how clean it is, and there's not that much raking involved. Continue this all the way out until you have it all covered. Of course, there is some raking involved, and again, St. Augustine grass is a special grass. You need to put your rake down, and what you're doing is you're lifting it up and pulling it. So you're pulling the dirt up in the air with your rake, and then pull it at the same time over towards your trench. This way it gets cleaned up really nice. Now connect your pop-up discharge right at the walk. And you notice it's at the perfect level. That water will flow down that line, push the pop up, the emitter up, and will discharge quite nicely over to the sidewalk. Throw some dirt on there to hold it in place before you start to do your main covering. So that's the proper way to install a pop-up discharge on a French drain, yard drain, or in this case, it's a sump pump discharge. This sod will settle quite nicely. Remember, this is St. Augustine. It's a vine. Just stick it in the ground and it grows. Lastly, we're going to go ahead and blow this section off, cover it up. So, sump pump's going to sit right down here underneath this rain barrel. It's going to go down 2 feet. It's going to go underneath these pavers and tie into where I brought the pipe up right there. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.